All right. Looking good. Okay, so today I just want to share with you guys all joining me today about how we can actually how we set up our marketing campaigns and what we're doing with our V.P.C method that should put you in a good position. If you don't have a process or a system in place, this should do wonders for you. It's going to be a quick overview. We'll spend probably 15 or 20 minutes together, maybe right now. And I just want to make sure that you walk away with a plan, something that could actually help you see what we're doing so that you could implement it into your own business. Because believe me, it is sometimes pretty difficult if you're not getting the results that you want. So let's get into real quick what the V.P.C method is and what it's all about. Now, my wife actually has my daughter getting ready to go to the movies for tonight. So I got some extra time on my hands. And so that's why I'm really making sure that we're spending some time together giving you this little insight, okay? Because this is going to be something for you. And the V.P.C method that we created is really all about value, pitch, close. Everything that we do is all about value up front. So a lot of the business owners that are brand new or aren't seeing the results they want, they're hoarding so much information and they're not looking at the market as what it needs to be. They're not looking forward and saying, hey, there's these people out there that actually want to get to know me. They want to get a problem solved. They want to see that I actually have the potential to help them before I help them. And before they actually give me money, I say. And what we do is when we run into that issue of mentality, it forces us into this hole of I'm going to expect to get before I give. And when you have that, it's never going to work with your business. So what we do is we focus on the V.P.C method that we've been creating for right around a little bit over 3 years now. And what that looks like is, let's go ahead and put this, that looks like this. Okay. So what you guys should be seeing now is the V.P.C method. And if we go through this circle by circle, what you're going to see is that on the left-hand side, the value is there. The top circle is going to be the pitch and the right circle is going to be the close. Each one of these circles is so important to you being able to get the results that you want. And it's going to bleed directly into how we set up our marketing campaigns. For us to actually prepare for a client, for us to actually get the results that we want in our own business, we've got to make sure that we come prepared and we understand our methodology, we understand our philosophy, and we understand our tactics. So when we sit in front of, let's say, a new campaign, or we sit in front of a new industry or a new niche, or we present a new product or whatever it is that we're doing with our company or our clients, there are certain things we have to know. So number one is you'll see in the value stage, there's 3 parts to that: the client, the offer, and the goodwill. Each stage is so important. You have to understand who your primary client or customer is. Who's the person that you made the product or the company for, your service for. Then we have to create the offer around that to support what is it that would really get these people, what are they looking for as a solution, right? What is it that we can wrap your service or product in, right? The offer, so that we can get this perfect client the right result. Then we have to create and understand that there's goodwill, and how are we going to deliver that? How are we going to present this goodwill in a fashion that actually creates trust with our market, right? Then you get to the pitch stage. And what we believe is that if you actually put in the work to deliver the value up front, now this doesn't mean it could be a PDF, it could be in the form of a demonstration, a free giveaway, whatever it is that you're into. What I mean here is goodwill, something that your product or service should do for somebody else that's going to help solve the problem that they're looking for, right? And so that goodwill is going to be very important to how well they receive your pitch, which is the next stage. So your pitch now is going to come after you've delivered value, because you've now earned the right to ask. Now what's going to happen is you can start to build the trust. You can start to show the relevancy, right? Now you're showing up at the right time with the right people. And now you're building authority because of how it comes together. The how you're being viewed, right? Everything that is being perceived from these other people, they're looking at you and they go, wow, okay, I'm seeing him all over the place. He's speaking right to my topic. This is a person who has an offer that I could possibly get behind, right? We're still working on the trust, but the authority's there. And then we get to the quality. Now we get to the point where you as the business owner, you get to actually share now, hey, what is it that I want to take away from this, right? I could actually share with them, hey, I want to give you X, Y, and Z as an offer, but now we have to find the quality of that client. We have to make sure that they are qualified, right? That they are completely and 100% the person who's going to make a business decision. They're the people who are in a position to make financially that decision, right? And they're ready to make that decision. So we have to make sure that the quality of that person's there, and then we have to vet them. And this could be done through, if you're selling professional services, it could be done through sales funnels if you're selling digital products or e-commerce or things like that. But there's a way to create this vetting process that will give you a better chance at closing. Then when we get to the next stage, which is going to be the demonstrative stage, where we're actually demonstrating to these people what we could do for them, then it becomes a very easy close at the end. Now, what this does, when you have everything running with you in the same amount of fashion, where you have the value running, you have your pitch down pat, and you have your close, which is now going to take not just marketing skills, it's going to take sales skills. So if we were to step back and think about how a lot of business owners think when it comes down to marketing, they go, well, the marketing is going to do the selling for me. That's a bunch of BS. That's never going to work. And if that's your mentality, there's a reason why you might not be seeing, that might be the reason why in itself, you're not seeing the results that you want, because marketing is never going to do the sale for you. Your marketing doesn't matter how good of a market you have or how good of a marketing campaign you have, how clear the message is, how awesome the offers are. You still have to have a sales component, a sales mechanism, a conversion mechanism, which comes from your sales process. It doesn't come from the marketing, right? The marketing can make the selling process easier, but it's never going to do it for you. So when we think about how we're all packaging this together, you have to have the marketing skills, you have to have the sales skills or the team to do this, and you have to have the system and the process to automate it. This way you get to relax more during the day and stop focusing about what's happening inside the business and start to really focus on what's happening on it. When you see this implanted into your business, your numbers grow because we're reaching more people with goodwill, which is spreading your message at a faster pace. You're getting the right to earn the pitch to these folks, which are lowering the resistance, which is increasing your conversion rates. When we can think about the fastest way to double your revenue, it has nothing to do with increasing the front end traffic. A lot of folks will say traffic's the best thing. You have to put more people through the front door. Well, I mean, there's a point, there's a truth to that to an extent, but wouldn't it make more sense? And mathematically, it proves that if you just had the same amount of people coming through the front door, but you close twice as much, you would double your income. So to me, the fastest way to double your income is to double your closing. And that's why we got to make sure that it's not just your marketing, it's also the sales process. Do we have enough offers? Do we have enough of the right things being served to the right people at the right time? And are we being able to overcome objections in the sales process to make sure we're closing more folks? So that's going to come through, and it's going to help you now see where they intertwine, increase your impact, elevate your status, and multiply your income, which is all going to give you the opportunity to experience what we call the nano-effect. Now, if you're thinking, what the hell is the nano-effect? Well, we were trying to get creative because we wanted to understand, we knew and we understand where the market's going. And the market is not going to a broader level. You're not going to see in 2020 and beyond that people are like, oh, I wish I could get spoken to less like an individual and more like everybody else. They're going in a more granular standpoint. They're actually saying, look, we understand that marketing and retargeting, people are understanding more about cookies than ever before. And we've got to make sure that we're attracting those right people, right? And so that's where, if we think about how we got to carry this into the marketing campaign now, how we're going to carry this into the next stage. Once we have your value all lined up, we have the pitch lined up, we have the close, we know what's working. Let's look at how we actually create the marketing campaigns, because this is going to be a big piece of what you guys are doing. And here is a look at it now. Okay, here's an actual template for you. And that template now, where we have, let me make it a little bit bigger for you, I assume. This is just a blank template. And this is something that we reuse for all the prospects. But you're going to see that, look, or for all of our clients, what we start with is the perfect customer profile. We have to understand what the profile is. Now, this is done before we meet, okay? So giving the context of everything, before I have the campaign ever created, I understand, certainly what the profile is of the perfect customer that we're going to be marketing to. I understand the hooks and the offers of what we're going to be presenting to this new market. So all that's already done beforehand with my client before we start the campaign. So let that be known before you do that. Now, the second thing is we got to start looking at the actual front end. I want to make this clear for everybody listening that if you are so heavy on the front end acquisition, if you are so heavy on, hey, if I do not close my folks in the first, 10 seconds of them meeting me, then they're not qualified and they're not going to be doing this, then your acquisition, number one, your acquisition costs are going to be through the roof, always. Number two, you're never going to be able to scale. There's never been a scalable model that relies 100% on front-end acquisition and no repeat buys. So let's think about that. In the history of the world, that's never happened. Why would we want to come with the mentality of wanting to be the first in that area? It's crazy to me, but there's so many folks who just don't rely or don't even want to believe that a follow-up or a back-end system is going to get them where they need to go. you're going to see that just with this diagram that it's so simple to put together. When, I mean, the technical side is not simple, but the build out, architecting this, getting your ideas out on paper so that you can actually execute on this, it's going to be so simple for you guys, because I mean, this has taken probably, I mean, I've been developing this one like process here for over 3 years. So it better be simple, right? I better have done a damn good job to make it as simple as possible. So if we look at phase one, which is in our language where the value comes in. So if you can imagine, what we're doing is we're just pushing this out to cold traffic. We're basically saying, hey, you're a specific type of person that matches our perfect customer persona. We want to give you something in advance that's going to help you solve a problem. That's going to get them to raise their hand, of course, and walk them through the front of our funnel. Nothing new to any of you guys watching or watching the replay, right? That's not new. What we're doing now is you're going to see when we go a step further, what the next step is not new either. The following step is going to be a refined process of what's currently going on in the market today. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I want you guys to be ahead of the game. If you're still worrying about micro targeting and things like that, yeah, you could get by with it, but we believe that it's going to be even more granular than that. So in order for you to actually start what we call with our nano targeting, in order for you to start with the nano targeting process, you have to have multiple front doors to your business. You never want to let all your eggs roll in one freaking lead magnet or one front door. And that front door could be, if you're in the like if you're in the restaurant space, right? I mean, you could literally give away an appetizer and you could say, hey, this is my one way to get people into the front door. Or you can create 13 different front doors to get people in digitally, right? We have to make sure we have a lot of front doors. You can see that we have 4 here. When I actually share with you in the next illustration real quick after we go through this, I want to show you what it looks like filled out. I want to show you what this whole build out looks like filled out so that you could start to duplicate this yourself. What I want you to walk away with today is to be able to see that, okay, if I've got multiple lead magnets in phase one running to a specific set of audience, and then I have phase 2, and then I have phase 3 all set up, then I have my back end sequence and my funnel, and it's all diagrammed out. All I have to do is start checking off boxes. We start creating this thing from the back forward, and then you are able to now start getting incredible results from following a new method. Okay, so if you don't have a process in your business or a methodology you're following to get better results, make sure we stick through this because you're going to love this. So these lead magnets, like I said, are going to be created based on the problems that you're solving for the perfect persona, the perfect customer that you want to attract. Next thing we're going to do is after we have at least 4 of these running, and the reason why we have 4 is the test. We don't know what major problem that you're solving is going to get you the best return on the back end. And we don't know if it's even a problem worth solving. A lot of folks, I know my market. I know my market, doggone it. They have this major problem over here. And a lot of the times we do understand the problem at its core issue, at its core sense, but people don't look at the core issue of a lot of things. They think that their problem are, Oreos versus the gym. They're like, oh, I can't buy these Oreos. I should stop eating all this junk food. And it's like, really, you should probably just maybe step into the gym every once in a while and might do a little bit better, right? The core issue isn't the Oreos, it's the health. So a lot of the times we can't speak to the core issue as we would like to. And that's why different lead magnets are so important. We're able to now give an opportunity to these people to say, look, I understand you. And we want to run these to the same market, the same demographic at the same time. We're not going to layer them one over another. We're going to run all 4 of these at the same time. That way we can get a very good sense in a short amount of time what problem that market is willing to give you attention and exchange their information for. Then we're going to start to create phase 2. So now we start to have phase 1. It's running, it's rocking, it's solid. We're getting leads. You're seeing that some are working and performing better than others. And so we kill off the ones that do not work well. Once we start to get enough of a bucket, some leads that are running through, enough of them to see exactly the data, boom, now we got to start to kill off, whether it be 2, 3, or all 4 of them and either restart from scratch, which is never fun, but could be the case. Don't ever let your ego force you to accepting costs that are above what you expected. Sometimes we're out of our realm and we'll say, hey, look, I expected to get costs at $5 a lead. I'm paying $8 a lead. And you try everything in the world and you can't get it lower than 8. Well, maybe your expectations from the beginning were wrong and now you pivot on that. But is it still profitable? Everything you're looking at throughout this entire campaign is the front end doesn't matter about the lead costs. I've seen lead costs from the front end come in at 3x let's say lead magnet 2 has leads coming in at $2, but lead magnet 4 has leads coming in at $8. But lead magnet 4 tracking it through the funnel is getting me more meetings with prospects than lead magnet 2. Well, I could care less about lead magnet 2 at that point because yes, the lead cost might be lower, but tracking deeper into the funnel, I know that my conversions and more of my meetings, my opportunities are coming from this specific lead magnet. So numbers and metrics and following through this is very important. I'm not giving you that as an example or a training today, but for you to look at what's going on here should be very helpful. So after we have now phase 1 created, we understand the purpose of testing. We understand the purpose of everything that we're doing here. Now we get to start to build the relationship. And following this process and actually having the numbers behind it, it's so like just gratifying for me. I've had so many arguments. And if you believe, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in this below. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? And in this case, it's which came first, the value or the relationship? And I've been having this conversation with marketers for years where I've always been the opposite. Most people will say, oh, I'm just here to build relationships. I don't sell stuff. I'm just here to build relationships. I've always laughed at that shit because it never made sense to me. You know what I mean? Because to me, in my world, it was always, well, in order for me to be friends with you, in order for us to have a relationship, there's got to be an exchange of value. Am I right? Like in order for us, even look at your best friend, look at your family members, right? If you have a relationship with them, it's, well, what are we bringing together? What value do we have to bring together so that this relationship can form? That's what we're looking for. And now that this whole methodology has been created and we've tested so many different forms of this, so many different ways from this, and I can tell you that this has outperformed every other way. And by us doing it like this, it just solidifies the fact that people want value first, that a relationship can't form until you actually deliver some sort of value up front with no expectation in return. Isn't that what a true friendship starts with? Right? Like, hey, I'm going to help you out with this because I want to help you out. I don't care if we form a friendship or not. Right? And a lot of folks, when they come online, they don't believe, they don't think like that. They're like, well, I just want this person to give me money right now. I'm a business. I'm online. I have a website. I've got a professional email. I should be trusted. And it's just not the way it is. So when we get to phase 2, now we're able to actually break that down and go, look, for each one of your lead magnets, you're going to create what we call a bucket. And that bucket now is going to be retargeted with specific videos and articles that you're going to create that's going to help solve their problem even further. And the way we do that is by creating a milestone. So if you can imagine just like a normal milestone that you're going to create timelines for, and you're going to imagine that if you're solving a problem X, you're solving X problem for your market, there's a beginning point in which they start. And then you can move them through the stages in which that problem would be solved. Create the milestones in which those big points would need to take place. Those are going to be your tactical videos. Now, another thing that we put into our brand awareness videos are our philosophy and our methodology. That way, it's real simple to understand what goes into each bucket's videos. You have your philosophy, your methodology, and your tactics. And your tactics are just going to be strategies or ways that you can help solve the problem that your market's facing in advance. And it's going to be tied directly to the problem that you help them solve from the lead magnet. So let's say even if it was in the restaurant industry still, right? Because I don't want to always use my information stuff because it works well. But if you're not in a consultant industry or a selling of information industry, then you might be wondering, how's this going to work for me? If you own a restaurant, and let's say that you are giving away you own a Greek restaurant, you're giving away your top 7 recipe guidebook that would easy to make from home. Take the taste of my Greek restaurant home with you, right? For free with a free download. Now, guess what would happen? Well, the next articles and the brand videos that I'd have would probably be about how to find the right ingredients, how to go find the best food from your shoppers, your farmers network, or not farmers network, farmers market, right? Things like that. Those types of ideas that are going to help solve the problem. The person was interested in cooking from home. Maybe it's different methods. Maybe it's different types of measuring tools. Maybe it's different types I'm not a big cook person, but you could see how that works. Then you would take that down and put them into each different bucket. That's only phase 2 now. Do you think that the trust would be formed? Do you think you'd have a higher level of success if you, after got them to opt in for X problem, to solve X problem, that you started to say, hey, look, you know what? here's some more ways you could solve that problem. Here's some additional ways you could do this. Here's some better ways that you can make it easier for you. And now you're going to start to show that authority. You're going to start to show the relevance, and you're going to show that you care by delivering the goodwill in advance. Now we get to phase 3. So phase 3, when we break it down, is just the direct sales phase. This is where a lot of people start off with. Imagine not having phase 1 and phase 2 now that you've seen it, and you're just running offers saying, hey, buy my stuff. Now it can work. It can work. We have clients right now in the fitness space, especially in the fitness space, where you can run direct sale offers and they will buy and they will give you money, right? A lot of e-com places you could do this with still. But to build up a pipeline with low resistance that's going to cost you less to retarget with so that they could see multiple offers more often for less money, right? Which is what the whole deal is. We've got to be able to cut the cost without cutting the reach. And if you start to build this out the way that you see it, you'll see that the cold traffic that we bring into the front end of the funnel is going to be the most that you pay for, because everything on the back end now with these retargeting costs and the way that we set these up in Facebook, it's a really cool way to keep your costs low and stay relevant in front of the ideal market that just said they were interested in you. So what we do in the final stage is help you create your hook and your offer. Now, like I said, this is typically done before we start the campaign, and that's why we have this written out here. This is the candy wrapper to your chocolate bar, right? It's what you're wrapping your stuff in. A lot of folks will think, well, my offer is my product or my service. No. Your offer is not your product or your service. Your offer is that candy wrapper that's wrapping it up, right? It's making it look appealing. It's like the Snickers wrapper around the Snickers, okay? Now, that is your offer. So when we think about the hook, it's what are we using to pull them in to actually get the offer? Okay, so we have a hook, we have an offer, and that hook and offer has to be congruent to that specific audience who was looking for that specific problem or solution to that problem. So you don't want to create, like if in our case, we have, let's say, a productivity guide that we give away. The brand awareness videos, phase 2 would be more geared towards our productivity, right? How can you become more productive? And then phase 3 is going to be a productivity business, what do we call it? I think we call it a productivity or a business development session or something like that, where it's about how to improve production within inside your business. So when we have these now, this offer, which is still taking them to a consultation, it's still me meeting with them. But let me be honest with you. Do you get excited about meeting with anybody for a consultation? Probably not, right? A lot of people don't either. So what we have to do is we can't say, hey, come and meet me for my consultation. It's boring. The shit sucks. It doesn't work. But if we were able to actually wrap that offer or wrap that up in a different offer, now it becomes more appealing. Now it's a business development strategy call. Right now, it's let me help you become more productive with our business development strategy call. Right? If you're looking for sales and marketing, it's, hey, we have a sales and marketing, a kickoff call. Right? So we have all these different ways to offer the same type of service, which is going to appeal to different crowds based on what they opted in for in the first place. So now that we have that all settled down, we can go ahead and make sure that you got your core services and everything lined up there. Then we get into the funnel, right? So it's just the layout of the funnel. And this is why we break it down for our prospects to let them see what it would look like and everything. We have the back end, which is just, hey, we have an intro sequence. We have everything dynamically automated to where we get to really stay in front of them, deliver offers for the first 90 days. So your next quarter is all taken care of. And now if we get up to the top, okay, let's get up to the top now, where we have something cool to show you. Where we have the back end now is going to be the same exact videos that we created for the brand awareness section. So we're not recreating a bunch of stuff. If I were to pull this out, and we're almost done. If I were to pull this out, look, this looks like a lot of stuff that you have to fill in. But it's really not. When we have these sections here in phase 2 filled in, that fills out every bucket over here. Isn't that cool? Every bucket over here is built out the moment that phase 2 is built out. Once phase 2 is built out, this whole back end is taken care of. And the reason why is because we're using the brand awareness videos, as you can see here. We're using the brand awareness videos as our goodwill videos in our follow-up. This way, we know that we don't have to do the work 18 times. We know we've gotten everything on point, and it's really cool to see how all this works. So by the end of this, you've got now phase 1 running, where you're going to have a clear identifier on what the major problem is that your market needs to have solved. You're going to have a clear bucket, individual buckets, multiple what I call communities, right? These little assets. Each of these little buckets here are individual assets for your company that you get to control, that you get to put whatever you want in front of that you know is going to help them. We know that email rates are dropping, right? I mean, 2019, like email rates are dropping. They're still being used, especially professionally, but they're dropping. So what can we do to offset that loss? Well, you can have messenger bots, right? You can have other retargeting options like on Google and YouTube. And you can also do what we're showing you here with the nano targeting, where we're going to say, hey, these specific buckets that are going to come through this process can now be sent this specific offer. So we've created this nano effect now, where you can deliver massive amounts of goodwill, massive amounts of all the things that you need to help create the trust and results in that market's life, and do it in a way that's not bothersome to them. Right? Like you're not sitting there guessing what they want. You're saying, hey, look, yeah, I'm going to do a lot more work because this is more work than what most people are willing to put in, right? They're like, well, Brandon, does this mean I have to create all these different videos and all this different content and all this different stuff? And the answer to that is yes. And the real answer is you should have been doing that since you've been open, right? Since the day you opened your doors, you've had an obligation to share what you know with your market in a way that's going to help them get results in advance. If you're not doing that, if you haven't been doing that, then this is going to seem like it is overwhelming. This is a lot of work for me, Brandon. I don't know if I can get it done, Brandon. I don't know if I could get it done. But if you had been working on this, and if you had a clear plan to get it done over the next 90 days, where you knew exactly what lead magnets need to be created, you knew exactly what videos and articles need to be written and created, you knew how to create the offers, how to create the hooks, and how to put all this together, it becomes so simple as a week by week plan. And that's actually what we give off for free, is a 90-day template. It's a sales and marketing guide, same thing that we're going through here. And I give that away for free. If you want access to that, just comment below. I'll send you that for free. No worries or anything like that. And you'll get taken care of. But hopefully you guys found some value in that. Real quick before we hop off, here's what it looks like at filled in, just to give you guys an idea, right? So you have your perfect persona filled in a couple of different ways, right? Then we have our different lead magnets that we have. So we have 8 different lead magnets. We have the 4 different buckets that we're running the 8 different lead magnets to. We have the 4 different offers that we're offering to those specific buckets. We have the core services. We have the design of the funnel and what we're actually going to be expecting, the user flow of everything, right? And then we have our back end build out as well. So you're going to see that we have everything created just the same way that we were teaching, or I was just showing you right now, just to let you know that I practice what I preach. And this stuff works great. When you start to fill in the boxes and you just literally start checking things off as you get them done, your life becomes so much easier. So I hope that you got a lot of value out of this today. I had a blast. Wife is actually about to take off to the movies right now. So I got to hurry this up. Let me go ahead and close this out real quick. And oh, there we go. I think that should work. All right, guys. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you on the next live. Take care.